Yo, what's good, boys? We are back at it again today with another lineup review for you guys. The last lineup review will be the final one that we do through email. People have requested that it go through Discord, so that's what we're going to do. So, that's what you see before you. I do not know what this Discord will evolve into, but for right now, it's pretty much just for you to ask me questions, give me feedback, stuff like that, and do team reviews. Um, the link to the Discord will be down below. Join if you want. If you want your team submitted, this is going to be the way to do it moving forward. We will go ahead and do my boy Manster real quick. Where's he at? All right, so he has submitted through Discord, so this will be something like what you guys will get used to with Discord. So we'll do his first, and then we'll hop into the emails, how we usually do it. So you can see the lineup we've got here. Pretty top end. Adley, not my favorite card. I feel like I've made that known now. Candelaria, little dated, especially not to have any parallels on him. Bro also got cooked on the value because this was from like a week ago. He's like 25k now because he's flying out of that vault pack that a lot of people ripped. Has Ted Williams, probably got some parallels on him by this point. Pretty much just short of like a Willie Castro lineup wise, but all the right pieces. Bench wise, so he actually has Harvard, he's just not playing him, which I get, because that would be, I think two lefties is where you want to be right now. So I think you do have to kind of decide between Seager and Williams. And I think there's not really a wrong, the only wrong answer is probably you leaving Ted Williams out. So Hunter Green, interesting. I don't think he included his like rating or anything. Yeah, so he did not include his rating. So it's kind of hard to tell if like he's just using Hunter Green because he's on All-Star right now, or I think the most likely option is he's on Hall of Fame. So for that, I'd probably still prefer like Nate Pearson. But you can't really go wrong with splitter and outlier fastball. It's a deadly combo. Let's see what we got here. Okay, so this is a good size for y'all. It's a little small for me, but it's a good size for y'all. So that works. The usual suspects. I hate Dennis Santana. Hate Griffin Jacks. I think Michael Kopech should probably take one of their spots. Call me crazy. I just think that Kopech is just insane until we get another like Rob Dibble type pitcher. I think Kopech's just him. And then that other slot, like you can live with that. It could be Ottavino, it could be Loizaga. Are they that much better than like Jax or Santana? No, not really. I would prefer them over them, but it's not the end of the world. And then he did include his lineup structure. So we'll just check. Again, this is basically a thankless task because I don't know how you hit individually with all of these. I'd probably just switch up Beltran and Buxton. At least if Beltran gets on, like lead off in the ninth, you can still second base and avoid the double play with him, is my thought process there. Buxton, you're just never going to steal a bag with. So you could still bat Buxton second. You could move Marte up to second. He's a lot better now, post-roster update. If you still want to have that switch hitter, which I'm a fan of, to not hit into double plays. But I think just your ideal lineup would be Beltran leadoff, then Willie Castro, and then, any way you want to structure it past there. But, I mean, definitely a top-end team, and I think, is it 10 out of 10 to start the day? Probably, because I assume you're just on Hall of Fame. This was also like a week ago, so, I mean, I can't really knock Hunter Green on Hall of Fame if you just got to get strikeouts. All right, so now we are back to our normal format. We are in dark mode. You might not can tell because Google hates me, but we are in dark mode. So we've got my guy Chesney up first, 600, 700, trying to get lighter. So I'm assuming he's saying making World Series. So, I mean, he's, remotely close. If he gets a run of luck or something like that, or if he just plays really good, then he's chilling. 100k to work with, trying to save for Judge and Shohei, nothing wrong with that. Thinking about trying to do Veritek, moving Schwarber to DH, lost in the bullpen, don't know who to go for. Okay, well, the bullpen we could probably help, especially on a budget. Joe Adele's kind of crazy. Yeah, just a lack of switch hitters. A good amount, but just, compared to like a top end lineup, just not really messing with it. John on the bench is crazy. Like, I don't know how he's not in the starting rotation. I mean, I don't hate this lineup. Like, the lineup's not the reason you're not World Series. It's not doing you any favors, but it's not terrible. I think everybody here is like pretty good, other than Joe Adell's a little questionable, and PCA is super dated at this point. I think I'd at least go get like that Victor Scott, or you don't even need PCA anymore. Honestly, you can live with the new Evan Carter. Like, go get the new Evan Carter, bang. Like, that's going to be a better center fielder. And then I would probably just, like, Jason Dominguez is going to be bad defensively either way. I'd probably just play him in right and just put Ian Happ in left and just, like, Hap swings fire. Yeah, the contact or the power is a little bit low, but even defensively, he is miles above Jason. So I think you can live with that. Or if you aren't hitting that good with Jason and you just love Joe Adell, you can leave him in right. But I think you'd like to keep the switch hitter, especially because you don't have a ton. Yeah, so get John in here. John should be pitching for you. I don't know if you're like a newer player and you're not aware that John can do both, but he can pitch. He should be in here. He's better than Pedro. He's better than Dustin May. He's better than Randy. John would be your best pitcher. John would 100% be your best pitcher. I would take your weakest link out of here, or if Randy is auctionable for you, I'd probably just sell Randy, honestly. So again, Michael Kopech's going to be a big diagnosis here. Kopech's better than Randy, similar to Gossage, better than Jax, better than Trinan, better than Gagne. So, I mean, that just kind of gives you a perspective of just how good Kopech is and how far your bullpen is behind. You need Danny Columby, however you say it. He would be a huge upgrade, and you just don't have a lot of lefties in general. You've got Hobie, who's a gimmick, and then you've got Aaron Bummer. So really, or I guess you've got two with Chapman and Bummer. So I'd like to see one more actual lefty, and I think the solution to that is Danny. Like, you should go get Danny. I don't think you've been grinding your spotlights because you don't have like Evan Carter or even like Corbin Carroll on the bench or anything. So go grind your spotlights, man. Go run your spotlights up. And maybe you'll get a free Danny. Worst case, you'll get enough stubs to where you can just go buy him. And so I think you're chilling, but I think as is, this team's probably like, it's crazy to hand out like a 7.5 to a team that has Randy and has Willie Castro and has Corey Seager, but I think that's just where we're at this point. All right, so next up we got Caden. Super broke after getting Beltran. At least you got him, at least you got him. A lot of people don't even have him, so at least you got him. And it's double PXP weekend, so you can be putting in some work, to be honest. You got some catching up to do, so you should be hooping. Starting rotation, chilling. I mean, that's arguably my 5. If you're on Hall of Fame, I think, yeah. If you're on Hall of Fame, I think, yeah. If you're on Legend, maybe Fernando makes an appearance, but on Hall of Fame, I think you're chilling there. Bullpen-wise, the usual suspects. I think you told me in a prior team review you were the one like waiting to get Eckersley, so I'm interested to see how you think he's done for you, because when I've seen him, haven't been impressed. Like, in my opinion, if Eckersley's gonna be good, his slider par needs to be like that big, and it's just not, even on lower difficulties. So don't love it. Dog. Kind of a dog, kind of a puppy. So, I mean, for the most part, everybody, the gang's all here. I think for you, I don't see a world where you're probably doing some platoon shenanigans. I'd probably just start Jordan. Like, that Jordan's not that bad. If you're playing most of your games at like Coors or somewhere where the outfield doesn't really matter, the corner outfield doesn't really matter, I'd seriously consider just starting Jordan. And even at Coors, where, sometimes you get balls in that like left center field gap, a lot of times you can just switch off to Beltran and he'll get to it. as fast as like Jaren Duran would have. So I think you could really just run Jordan full time if you really want to. And just skip Jaren Duran and the fluky power. His swing's really good, but the power is just not really there all the time. So I think that is one option you could do. Back-to-back Byron Buxton opposition teams is in. So you've got him lead off. So, okay. I kind of see why you have him there now. I mean, you could just keep him, right? Okay, you've only got one other. You could just keep him and play him in right if he has a secondary, and then just play Jordan in left. And, it does give you 3 lefties. I don't know. I'm just not a huge Byron fan. I don't feel like you are either if you're batting him 9th. I think, the easy solution is just Berkman, and he doesn't cost that much. So I think feasibly you could get your subs up to where you are getting Berkman. And getting Berkman probably will also get you. It won't get you close to Ted Williams unless they retroactively added a ticket, which they didn't. I don't think. Or maybe, okay, hold on. We're about to do some research. Side note, that also sucks for you that Vlad is like basically off the team now, because I remember you were in the last one that I told you to go ahead and do the pipeline. So that's a little tough. Let's see. Did they update the Ted Williams collection? Moment of truth. No. So Bergman will not help you get Ted, which is a little unfortunate. Will definitely help you come around the next collection, but obviously can't really plan for that. But I mean, nothing wrong with lineup. I would just probably like to have some better bats, but it makes sense where you have Jaren Duran. So I mean, it's a 10 out of 10 squad. It's not my 10 out of 10 squad, but there's nothing wrong with that. All right, so next team we got Dill Pickle. Just started playing MLB this week. Interesting. First one ever. Playing on rookie for now because you suck at hitting. Playing on rookie isn't really going to get you better at hitting necessarily. I mean, riding a bike and whatnot, but I think the training wheels kind of start at like veteran. Completed the summer collection. Yeah, I guess you loaded up some stubs. You should be grinding every possible spotlight program. That's what I would say to anybody new on the game, because you get a lot of good cards with it. You get Devers, you get Evan Carter, you get free packs, you get cards you can sell. Like, that's definitely the number one thing to be doing. Tried ranked, went awful. Shocker. Any cards that can make hitting easier. Yeah, any switch hitter. Okay. All right, let's get it. Let's break down the squad. So it's just gonna be a lot of summer cards. That's what I think. Yeah, so you finished the mini season, so you must not be completely miserable to finish the mini season. Adam Dunn should not be in left field at this point. At least you have Jaren in center. So yeah, I would. Chili Davis is probably better in left field, so you could swap him and Adam Dunn and just have a better team immediately. But yeah, spotlight programs will help you a lot because Evan Carter would be arguably the best player on your team. Spotlights. Go knock out all your spotlights. But at least you know what collections are. A lot of new players don't even know what collections are. So this rotation's gonna be terrible. Bert sucks, Sonny Gray sucks, Catfish sucks. Bob Feller and Sandy are cheesy because they have Outlier, and that's the only reason they're good. So yeah, your team's down bad, but I think you go run some spotlight programs. That's what I would tell a new player to do. All right, so next guy here, we've got Cameron, 59K, trying to get Beltran, naturally. Cattell and Lindor. So Cattell should be your number one priority there because he's actually usable. Gonna give Jose a shot. Worried about it. Don't worry about the defense. It's going to be bad, but he should just hit good enough. 734, trying to get to World Series. Cold, so 70 points. That's not too hard. That's like 5 games. That's 5 games. If you go 3-2, you're probably at World Series. So that's not bad. Shouldn't be too hard to break through. Did bro not give us an actual lineup screen? He didn't, so we'll have to dissect it. All right. P5 Ellie. The lineup structure is a little suspect here. Ray Freeman's a little crazy. Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna overhaul your lineup. J Ram second. Aaron Judge third. You should hit good with Judge. I'm not a big fan of this new school Uh, Yankee Janky, like bat the best guy second. Not me. I'm putting him third. I'm putting him fourth. So I think just Judge third, Jose second, because switch it or second. And then you got to pick between Ellie and Evan Carter leadoff. I think either one of those isn't bad if you want to keep this philosophy of having good hitters towards the top. Evan Carter. Otherwise, Ellie probably sinks to like 6 or somewhere around there. Freddie Freeman's horrendous. I think you need to split your lefties up a little bit more. Only having one guy between each is like, if Evan Carter's the leadoff batter in the 9th inning, your opponent's going to bring in Danny. Evan Carter's not going to get a hit. Brian Roberts might hit a single or something. Freddie Freeman's not going to get a hit. And then you got Real Mito up with 2 outs. And he can just put in a new reliever. So you kind of see why you'd like to split your lefties up more. So I think Evan Carter leadoff will do that for you. Tatis is horrendous. So just not a fan of platooning guys that also hit their same handedness better. So I'd probably just start Ian Happ, honestly. Maybe put like James Wood in a secondary and just start Happ. Would probably be my solution there. Let's see. So starters, pretty good other than Skeen. I also think Nolan's kind of bad, but just having outlier where you're at right now for like, there's guys that are borderline World Series guys that aren't going to hit outlier at all. So just having a guy like Nolan can sometimes just be enough. Have not tried Seymour out myself. I hear he's okay. Which would give you 2 BP lefties. So you have no good lefties in your bullpen. That's a problem. So the prescription here is Danny. And then it's probably like Matt Strahm. And that is going to be a lot of your budget. But you got to have some shutdown lefties. You can't just let people stack like Harper, Corey Seager, Ted Williams, James Wood, insert select lefty here in their lineup. And what they have to worry about from you is a way slider with Josh Hader and high and end 2-seam that tops out at 96. You need some more tools to work with. So it might even be worth you going back and like doing that New Threads Chapman. He's a little dated at this point. It's kind of iffy. But that's another alternative for you. You got Kopech enjoyer. Don't know how great Camilo Duvall is going to be. I think, in my opinion, he's just like a legend pitcher. But I mean, the bullpen's not terrible. You got to get some better lefties in there. Dude, it's hard to like give your team like a rating when I don't actually see like the squad. But we'll just go with like, I would say 7.5, but the last 2 pitchers are like who invited these 2, man? Who invited these guys? 7.5, I think. All right, next up we got my guy Lucas. I feel like, okay, knocking on 1,000. I feel like we've either done his roster review before or he's been in the streams. Probably both. Open tryouts in left field until he gets tabbed. Big Jock and Nick platoon. Losing love for May. Scooball's BP. Dude, Scooball's tough. Scooball's tough. All right, let's see. The usual, the goons. Yeah, I'd say that looks like 1,000 rated team. If I had to say. I mean, you got Hap P3, so you must not hate him too much. But I do kind of get it. I mean, him versus Dominguez, like Dominguez probably a little better bat. Hap's just actually a plus fielder for once, so I don't think there's anything wrong with the lineup. I think new Berkman. This was sent before Berkman, so if you got some stubs on hand, Berkman could help you out. You have to probably play him at secondary of like left field, because playing Bryce anywhere but right field seems like a bad idea. But yeah, at least you have that option now. Yeah. Yeah. You have Beltran, right? Am I mistaken? Yeah, you have Beltran. Fernando instead of May. There you go. Easy. People will say what they want to about him, but on Legend, the card's hard to hit. Like if you're mixing your pitches well and throwing perfects, he's hard to hit. All right, let's see lineup structure. Not a fan of this. I get it. Like I don't like batting Beltran lead off either, but you got a guy that has max clutch right here and just higher contact. Like just put Beltran lead off, so maybe you can steal a base once in a blue moon. The back-to-back lefties is sweaty. I like that because you're either going to punish somebody that you're playing against really bad, or you're just gonna pull him for like Nick, and it won't matter for the rest of the game. So I do like that. And then you got two live series guys that are largely dependent on inside edge at the bottom. I mean, I back Cattell second sometimes. If I'm not happy with how my like topping guys are doing, Cattell second. So maybe look into that. The goons in the bullpen makes sense. Yeah, Kopech's just better than Doval. I'm gonna be honest. That's probably the only thing I'd change. Darren O'Day, I don't love, but at least he has a reason to be ran for away sliders and circle changes on Legend. I think Kopech is miles better than Doval. I'll be honest. I think, outlier four seam with the slower cutter, way more valuable than, outlier cutter with a sinker that doesn't even really look like it. I mean, on Legend, I think that is where Doval's at his best. So maybe you would prefer to get rid of Weaver. He's kind of a cutter guy, or get rid of like Loizaga. But I think I would need Kopech. Like Kopech has came on really strong for me recently, but obviously 10 out of 10. All right, so next up we got my guy Fedney. That's an interesting name. I don't think I've ever heard of Fedney before, so that's fire. All right, what lineup you should run? A lot of questions here. A lot of questions. Also, if you're doing all this, like, so whatever. Like all this is what if you're actually at like 400 rating and just running through guys, I don't think like having a pinch runner is gonna be the end all be all. I don't think it's gonna be what sinks or swims your team. A lot of lefties, or at least in the outfield. Oh my God, Johnny Bench. My eyes burn. They burn. Oh my Lord, I did not think I'd be signing up for Johnny Bench. Also, running a guy out of position at first base when you have a guy at DH that has first base secondary is certainly a choice. Certainly a choice. So probably not that lineup. As for what lineup, probably not that one. You have, oh my God, you've got Murray on the bench. Like, just run Murray. Murray's a dog. You've also got Grant, dude. Ugh. Okay, so whatever this Johnny Bench is giving you, it's probably 5 contact right and 5 contact left, is not going to matter at 443 rating. If that's why you're losing the game is because of that 5 contact, I promise you just running a better catcher will win you more games than that 5 contact's going to do. For Candelario, a card that already has basically the highest contact on your team. So I think your priorities are a little messed up there. Lodelo, okay, so you have Lodelo activated, so at least you're getting a little extra power. But then the card that would benefit the most from that is on your bench. So it's like, what are we doing here? What are we doing? Bullpen, Tony Santillan. I mean, you can just. So I'm assuming you're running like tier 2 reds, but you're not. But you're definitely not. 1, 2. Yeah, you're not. So like, Tony Santillan can go into the moon. He can go and shoot him into the sun. You could just run another bench bat. There's no way you're running through 4 bench bats in the same game. No way. So scrap this team captain boost. This is definitely a better way to run this lineup. And actually, that Louis Bob does not have the most horrendous swing in the world this year. So I don't hate him. But this captain boost, your fascination, you don't have to run a captain boost. I make videos on good ones to run. I would not be running that Johnny Bench in July. You got 3 more days. I would not be running that Johnny Bench in July. All right, so you got some like stub sales. You got Judge against, yeah, just full-time Judge, bro. Full-time Judge. Like, Judge is your full-time DH. Candelario is your first baseman. That's how it is. Like, if you have Aaron Judge, you play Aaron Judge. You don't play him in the outfield, but you play him. Yeah, so interesting team. 0 out of 10. If I see Johnny Bench in a lineup, it's a 0 out of 10. We are not running Johnny. I actually think his swing's not complete dog water this year. But the stats on that card could make a grown man cry. And I'm about to cry. So I'm going to skip to the next team. All right. So next team here, we've got my guy Dean. Interesting last name. Made World Series recently. 150K invested. So you're in a pretty decent spot. Probably move Adley, catcher, Schwarber, DH. So it's at least, yeah, okay. So you're working on Adley. I do not enjoy Adley. I am not an Adley enjoyer, so I would not go super far out of your way for it. If you're already like working towards it and you've already got most of the summer cards, it's not going to cost you that much. Whatever. But I am not an Adley enjoyer. 3 lefties, 4 lefties. That's a lot of lefties, my guy. That's a lot of lefties, my guy. John Donaldson's licking his lips. All right, and you got him in the, I mean, look at your rotation. Would you want to face 3 out of the 5 pitchers in your rotation with your lineup right now? If your answer is no, that kind of lets you know that your lineup's probably not optimal. Randy sucks. Dennis sucks. Griffin Jack sucks. Jeff Hoffman's not great. Yeah, so Kopech, again, for like 5K. I think Kopech's price might go up 2K after this video. Just off people having to go buy him. Because everybody should have Kopech, I think. And then after that, it's up to you. Like, if you've been good with Dennis, I don't hate it. If you've been good with Griffin or Randy, I don't hate them. You've also, okay, you've got 3 lefties. I would consider maybe 4. Sometimes you need 4. So just food for thought. But Kopech in will help your bullpen quite a bit, especially if you're over World Series now, because, you know, better players are going to fall for that tunnel a lot more than Joe Schmo off the street. So overall 7, too many lefties. All right, we got a repeat offender here. We got Sashwad. I do remember the name now. Got Beltran and Ted. Beltran's been hooping, as he should be. He's a dog. Got a 10 out of 10. Looking to get Randy. Okay, I mean, you don't have to have Randy. Felix is more important than Randy, I think, at this point. So at least you can pitch Felix like 2 out of 4 games and just have like shutdown innings. Pitching and batting order advice. All right. Every game is on the Hall of Fame. So he's over 600. Is that where it's at now? Or is it, I forget. I think it's 600. Yeah, I don't hate it. Like, I think Mizrowski's trash, but just double outlier go Burr. So I don't like hate it. But it's just like him and John are both kind of nerfed this year because the outlier slider almost never goes above 95. It's rare to even throw it at 95, to be honest. So that pitch kind of like Skubal and Nate Pearson throw their slider just as hard most of the time, which is insane. I don't hate it. It definitely makes these cards a little easier to hit. So I don't hate it. But I do think it leads to like Mizrowski being like overpriced. I actually like the bullpen a lot. I think this is almost a perfect bullpen. You probably take O'Day out or like Loizaga out for Felix, or maybe just Ben Joyce to like replace an outlier guy with an outlier guy. It's probably the best bullpen we've seen. If you're adding Felix for like one of these weaker links, probably the best bullpen seen. So you got that going. The usual suspects. 3 lefties, so a lot of lefties is what it is. Low-key, I'm running Posada over Adley. If Adley's been good for you, whatever. Keep running him. Pretend like I didn't say that he's not good, because then you'll get in your head about it. I would rather run Posada. Not gonna lie. But, I mean, it's all the right pieces. It's not my pieces, but it's all the right pieces. Let's see. Okay, Willie Castro shouldn't be batting 9th. That's how we're gonna start it. And split your lefties up more. You're same as the other guy, where it's like if Corey Seager's leading off an inning for you, that's gonna hurt Bryce Harper. So split him up a little more. I don't hate Ted second. I don't. Yeah, I don't hate Ted being second, but I'd probably either split these guys up more or run a platoon and do what the sweaty ass dude that was like 1,000 rated is doing, where it's like back to back lefties. So either you're going to have at least one good at bat, or you'll just pinch it and it'll be whatever. So if you're fine with just throwing one of those guys away, just like, you could bat like Harper and Seager back to back. You could bat like Seager and Ted back to back. I feel like second base is pretty replaceable for you. So if you have a superfractor, tell Marte, I'd probably just do that. I probably would just do that. I would just like sweat your brains out and just like move Seager up a spot or something. And then, I don't know, you got to think about where Marte's going to come into the lineup. Are you cool with Marte batting third? So I'd probably move him down below Harper. You could move like Harper up one and then put like Seager under Harper. And then that'd probably be hooping. And then Willie Castro can easily come up here and be a productive player at the top of the lineup where he probably should be. So lineup structure is a little questionable, but like I said, all the right pieces are there. So I think you earned your 10 out of 10, and you pretty much got the best team in the game. And Berkman just came out. It seems like Stubbs is not an issue for you, so I'm sure you got Berkman in there now, which will give you one less lefty. So, all right, next team, we got Luis here. Big dog. Not big dog. Okay, so 850, 950, so close to 1,000. So you could make 1,000 push. It would definitely hurt you on Weekend Classic, but you could do it. Have Valenzuela. I feel like that's how I say it every single time, and people hop on me about it. So feel really good with him pitching. It depends on where you're at. If you're over 900, yeah, he's really good. Like if you can guarantee that you're on Legend, he's a dog. On Hall of Fame, he's a different type of dog. Like he's a puppy. So I don't like him there. But ERA is 3.3. I mean, that's pretty good. I wouldn't ask why you had him in the squad, especially with your rating. Don't use Hodges. Hate that type of swing. I'm right there with you. Scott Rowland, I think people just don't sweat to Scott Rowland. Like they're not scared of Scott. So I feel like he gets pitches down the middle a lot, is my theory. Yeah, so that's 10 out of 10. I like Marte over Roberts, but, do you? Also, three lefties. It's a lot. I would probably, shout out to that guy. Shout out to, I forget who it was, but the guy with back-to-back lefties that was platooning one of them. That's some super sweat stuff, bro. I might steal that. I think I've done something similar in the past, but it's not something I actively think about. So it's something you could think about. Like, if you are not over the moon with Seager, Harper, or Ted, just bat them back to back and just pinch hit them. So you're on Dodger boost. So you have Trinan, which is a pretty inoffensive, like, if you want to run a team captain, I think reliever, and you can live with it being a not great reliever like Trinan, it's whatever. And that definitely helps Nando out, so I don't hate that. And then actual bullpen wise, Gagne, dude, I think Gagne's trash. But I also haven't hit great off of him, so but I think he's trash. Lineup structure. Lefties. Yeah, so again, split your lefties up more, big dog. That's what I'll say to you. Is either split them up more or bring them together and just have a pinch hitter that you like. You like Marte, so I mean, same kind of applies where Marte will probably play a better shortstop than Seager, and you could just platoon him. So either you hit your opponent out of the game early because you have back-to-back lefties, or you just got Marte for the rest of the game, which Marte's a dog, so nothing wrong with that. Yeah, not bad. Again, like 10 out of 10. It's not like my 10 out of 10. It's not the way I would probably run my stuff, but I can't really argue with the results. So it's definitely a 10 out of 10. I think Kopech is probably better than Trinan. better than Loizaga and most likely better than O'Day. So I'd consider that. Gagne with the Dodgers boost isn't terrible, but Felix would obviously be better. So small things where maybe if you want to knock him to like a 9.8, you could. I think that's just like splitting hairs. All right, next team, we got Taylor here. 915, it's where he's been, so that's close to like his peak. Have about 150K liquid, struggling with Judge and Brian. I mean, once you get to that high of a difficulty and you're actually on Legend and you're seeing like Dustin May and stuff a good amount, it makes sense. Like the 86 lighter more than 95. I'm gonna assume the Jacob you're referring to is Mizrowski. Okay, so again, another guy that just mainly needs bullpen help. How many lefties? Two? Two's a good number. I like two. So you have Beltran, so you don't have to run Judge. I just thought maybe you didn't have Beltran and you were running Judge because he's like one of the better options. You don't have to run Judge. You could run Santander if you really want to. Like if you don't care, you can run Santander. It's just know that you're gonna have to be basically perfect with him on Legend at this point. Circle changes are gonna send him to the gulag. Mizrowski, Missy, Orowski. I mean, yeah, not that hard to spell. So you got Kopech. I cannot diagnose Kopech here. Three pretty decent lefties. Randy's pretty much your weak link, but I don't have like an awesome replacement for him. Like if you just want like an outlier sinker guy, there's options for you. You could go that route, and it'd be a little bit better. For my money, it would just be Felix. So again, Felix, is he overpriced? Probably. Is he worth it? Yeah. So I think that's what I would do. I think you're a psychopath for still running this slider. Like there's we got to put this notion to bed. So is it E before I, dude? I always forget. It's E before I. I need his 1,000 card art, bro. Oh, I need it so bad. So the Blue Jays one has more stamina. That's probably why you like it. 20 more hits, 10 more Ks, 20 more walks. Just better control, more or less same velocity. There's no difference. You just have this placebo in your head of the Blue Jays one being better when he's most definitively not. So that's all I got to say about that. Is it a 10 out of 10? No. It's probably like a 9.5. You'd like to see Willie Castro. You'd probably like to see like a switch hitter at first or like DH somewhere else in the lineup. But nothing wrong with it. All right, so we got Ames here, or a mess. So I pronounce a new name every day. I feel like a teacher. Thoughts, and he likes Mays, so he likes Willie Mays. He did not include his rating, so we can only speculate when he says that. Looks like a pretty good team. Parallels don't render on the mobile app, so don't know how much you use these cards. I'm gonna assume that Polanco is probably super fractured. Just like Willie Mays, even his defense is mediocre. Like I can name you probably 10 better defensive center fielders. Let's see, how many lefties you have? 1, 2, 3, 4, but one's okay. You're probably platooning Jock with Nick. Fair enough. So you've got like 3 actual lefties, which is a lot. It just kind of depends on your lineup structure. So we'll see if you're falling into the common mistakes. Hobie at this point is kind of crazy. Other than that, it's fine. I can't really argue with it. Again, Kopech, I think Kopech's better than Gossage, better than Munoz. So I think that's going to be a common recommendation. I don't hate Sandy. It's definitely not ideal. Same for Pedro. I don't hate it if you just need somebody with outlier. But it's definitely not ideal. Again, split your lefties up more. You got 4 of them. This one's also a platoon guy, so like, you know, do the sweaty thing again. Have them back to back with one of these other ones, and you'll just knock any righty pitcher out of the game in like 4 innings. So do that. Would be, I mean, you must not like him that much. He's batting 9th, so how much you really like him? Like, you're in a weird spot because you already have a bunch of other lefties, so I get that, but yeah, if you're batting him 9th, how much you really like him? Probably an 8. Like, there's some good foundations. Like, I wouldn't even call John a foundation at this point because everybody has him and he's getting a little dated. Santana's cool. He's getting more. He's still, I think, ahead of the meta. Like, he's still an insane card, but he's getting caught up to a lot more. And then no Willie Castro, so I think that hurts you. All right, real quick PSA to Dion and anybody that wants coaching. This is literally, this is how you do it. You know, I tried to check my email a little more frequently, so I'm sorry, Dion. I will be getting back to you right after I finish this video. But if you want coaching, this is how you do it. All right, so an actual team review one. So we've got Cole here, 650, 750, trying to get World Series, needs Ohtani for Live Series, so making World Series would be nice. That's like plus 50K. PCA, Simpson, and Ashburn all hitting a... What did I just read? What did I just read? That's devious. Not sure on Skeens. Well, I can tell you about Skeens. I can tell you a lot about Skeens. Oh my god, my eyes are burning. Not only from the screenshot. Nah, you're trolling. This is a troll. This is a troll. This is a troll. You're trolling. You have to be trolling. This is your bunt team for Diamond Quest, right? This is not your ranked lineup. I know it's not. I know it's not. I would love and hate to play you in ranked because I'm sure it'd be a frustrating game, but I'm also sure it would be free points. So there's that. Yeah, nah. Okay, yeah, you're trolling. You didn't even change. Nah, you didn't change your starting right there. Okay, you're trolling me. You're trolling me. All right, fair enough. So we'll evaluate what we can actually evaluate here. Which is, again, I think Kopech's better than Duvall. I think Eckersley really isn't on anything. I think I'd rather run Darren O'Day than Eckersley, to be honest. And then starter-wise, like I think Mizorowski's overrated. He's fine if you just want an outlier guy, but I think he's overrated. And then I think Skeen sucks, personally. So we're not even going to do the lineup order. I'm not indulging it. I'm not. All right, next up we got Adam, hopefully with an actual team. So mostly Hall of Fame, just finished Live Series, fire. So bro took advantage of the flash sale. Stubs are flowing in, bought Felix, bought back Williams, Devin, okay. Ooh, probably sell him, actually. By the time you're seeing this, probably sell him. Everybody watching this, probably sell him, because he's just going to get rewound, and he's at least going to drop down to 20K, if not more than that. So if you care about making a passive little, like, 20,000 stubs, do that with your Devin Williams. Delgado, Cattell, yeah, okay. Irreplaceable and Delgado do not belong in the same sentence, but all right, we'll do our best. 3 lefties. You can live with 3. Would not be the 3 I would pick, but you can live with that. Lineup wise, probably like a 9.2, 9.2. I think there's a lot I would change, but if you're hooping, you're hooping. Cattell in the secondary right field's crazy, but I also can't really knock it. I mean, he's just gonna play better defense than Roberts, so it really comes down to Delgado. Hate Nolan Ryan. I think Nolan Ryan's trash. I would rather run Nate Pearson, 100%. J-Ram on the bench not playing is a decision. That's a decision. No Kopech. But I don't think you need Kopech. You don't really have that type of pitcher. You really don't have that type of pitcher. If you want that look, I think he's better than Hoffman. And I think it's a coin toss if you would replace Ottavino or Luke Weaver with him. I think they give you two different things, so I think you'd have to make a decision there. But Kopech would be good, but also don't hate him because your bullpen doesn't really rely on that look at all. So it's something different that you could spice up your pen with. I think the overall theme of this team is like a 9.2. It's missing some like super top end ones, but you said you're making stubs now that you've actually got live series. So, hopefully I can manifest you pulling a little Judge or Ohtani, something to get the bankroll going a little more. All right. So next up we got Emerson. I'm gonna try not to scroll too much. I recognize the profile picture actually from the night, so that's fire. Love the videos, love the streams. Diehard Mets fan. Tried to make the best Mets team. Nah, Nimmo's tough. Nimmo swing's actually pretty solid. The problem with Lindor and Soto is there's like no way to really give more clutch. So that's the problem with those two. I think Soto's due for a new card. Maybe Lindor, but he could also get like a Guardians card. Yeah, I'm sure Leiter's a dog. Pedro's cool. I mean that's about right. So okay. Let's see. Yeah, so you gotta get Beltron. That's the end game. Screw all this. You gotta get Beltron. I mean, next captain boost probably will go up to like 96, 97, 98, something like that. So we're not too far from like being able to boost Beltron, I wouldn't think. Probably be after All-Star for sure. It's hard to judge these cards. I don't know what the stats look like. Because you're right, like Nimmo's no worse than like running Evan Carter or like Corbin Carroll. I think he's actually got better swing than probably all of them. So you're not wrong, and I love Juan Soto. Like I'm gonna need a Juan Soto jersey. I don't know if it's gonna be Mets or Padres or Yankees or Nats. Probably Nats. But I'm gonna need me a Soto jersey. Not bad. Not bad. No Mets relievers, so you need a J. Royce Familia to drop or something like that. It won't let me zoom in, so what y'all see is what you get. Nothing wrong. Again, I don't love Nolan. I'd rather run Nate Pearson, but that's just me. And then yeah, so these numbers look great. This number, and it looks roughly the same for Juan Soto, and low key for Marte, and all the others are make more sense. So the fact that your top three batters kind of have bad clutch is kind of scary. You didn't say what difficulty. If you're on All-Star, not go crazy. But higher difficulty, not too great. So I did scroll down. It's literally just this screenshot of Lindor, which I think is the same as this one. So it's cool, just know a Mets team's only going to take you so far. And, unless you're a Mets fan whose name is Ochev, you probably got to need some better cards at some point. But I think we're due for a Lindor. We're probably due for a Soto pretty soon. So at least you got that to look forward to. I don't know about running like the actual Mets captain boost per se. But, it's probably like it depends on your difficulty, right? If you're on All-Star, it's probably like an 8, 9 out of 10. If you're, on the Hall of Fame, it's probably like a 6.5. So, okay. Next up, we got Chance. So I guess we reviewed them before. Thoughts on rotation. Made World Series once, mostly hovering 6 to 8. Had to include the 8. All right, let's see. Nothing wrong. Don't love Adley. Jason Dominguez in the secondary is enough to make me want to vomit. Who are you platooning with? Jock? Just Yasman. Oh, probably Bo. Meh. Not there. I just see a lot of like underwhelming bats. Like Candelario's kind of mid right now, especially if you don't have him like super fractured, which not a ton of people do. Polanco's, the definition of mid. Jason's pretty mid. Buxton's cool, especially if you have him super fractured. Wood is like, as far as a lefty you'd want in your lineup, pretty mid, but you know, as a card itself, pretty good. Corey's dope. Vlad's dope. I think you could just run Vlad at first and find a new third baseman. You seem not very committed on the live series, so that's the theme I'm noticing. Is we're anti-live series for the most part, which is going to limit you. But I think you're doing good with that limitation. Again, Mezrowski overrated. Kopech, probably Kopech for like Trinan or Jeff Hoffman, whoever you're less comfortable with. Not bad. Probably like an 8.5 lineup. I think I'll look at this lineup, and for the most part, all of these players I associate with being like an 8 to 8.5 like quality player, with the exception of like Wood, Seager, Vlad. So, all right. So we'll probably do 2 more. I saw one I'd like to get to, maybe 3. We'll see how long these take. So we've got Anthony here. 908. Okay, so pretty good rating. Got Beltron, thanks to, it's not a color storm method, it's just team affinity. Trying to start a grind, need Willie as a shortstop. Okay, we'll see what we can do. Oh my god, it took forever. Okay, your shortstop's not your concern. Like, Marte's fine. I would be getting I would do all hands on deck getting Ted Simmons out. I think that is the only issue with this lineup. I don't look at any of these other cards and think, other than Ted Simmons. So I'd be all hands on deck on getting him out. And then we've got a bench inclusion, whatever. Doesn't really matter. I mean, upgrade your lighter, obviously, especially if you're 900 rated. Like, upgrade your lighter. Hater, trash. Oh, your lefties are sketchy, man. Go get Danny. Go get Danny. Go get Danny right now. Right now. Go get Danny. And then, again, I think Kopech over Camillo makes a lot of sense for me. But if you like Camillo, maybe you consider, I mean, you're just throwing a cutter like 80% of the time with Hoffman anyway, right? So I think Kopech over Hoffman makes sense. I think Kopech over both Hoffmans. Bro likes his Hoffmans. All right, let's see. Anything else? No, nothing else. So that's probably, it's definitely not a 10. I think it's a 9. I think, like, Willie Castro would be cool for you, but I think Ted Simmons gotta go. You gotta go. All right, so here is Devin. This is one I wanted to get to because he said second year playing, so always down to help new players. 700, 750. That's pretty good for 2 years in the show. Some people do make World Series their first year, but it's not typical. So I think 700, 750, like knocking on the door is pretty good. You know, you get hot, watch out. It's a goon squad. It's a goon squad. Again, I don't like Adley. You've got him P4. You know better than me how you're doing with him. So, you know, keep that in mind. 4 lefties. Yeah, 4 lefty. 4 is a lot. 4 is a lot. You're probably platooning Bryce, I would hope. I don't know if you include your bench. Sure did. It's the only way it matters, is if you're, okay, you're probably platooning Harper or Seager with like Scott Rowland and J Ram. So, you know, in that context, it's fine. Lineup wise, you have your back-to-back lefties. So if you're platooning them, right, compartmentalize this. It depends on how well you hit with their platoon, right? Like if you don't hit good with Rowland, if you don't get hit good with J Ram, probably not. But if you do, think about the back-to-back lefty method. Not bad. Other than that, like fine lineup structure. Did have back-to-back lefties, but he's just platooning them anyway. So I like the 5. You know, maybe Pearson's better than Randy. Maybe he's better than Dustin May. It's really up to you. Bullpen. Again, I think I like Kopech more than Joyce, and I think I like him more than Loizaga. But it's really up to you. I think a lot of people use that Kopech just because they had to do the multiplayer missions, and then they never used him again. I think he's pretty slept on. I also don't love Eckersley. I like O'Day. I mean, you've got P5 O'Day, so I think having that look twice in your bullpen's a little redundant because it is just gimmicky. So if it doesn't work, then you're not going to be able to bring the other one in. But it's cool. Is it 10 out of 10? No, I'm going to say no. I'm going to say it's like a 9.7, 9.8, just because no Santana. I think you're missing Santana. You got 480K. He's getting cheaper by the day. For some reason, they keep handing that the April spotlights out. Go get Santana, dude. Start putting some parallels on him. He's a monster. All right, final one of the day. Asher. So, W name to end it on. 800, 900, did not spend stuff wisely. Looking to replace Waka. Jock and Casty. So Jock and Casty's the new age Jock and Bernie, huh? Jock and Bernie just got a different ring to it, but I understand why you would do it because Casty's just way better against righties. I think Bernie actually has better quirk, so I'm seeing a live series PCA. Oh lord. Oh goodness. What's he looking like nowadays? Like, would you actually just want to run that card over the Easter one? I know the defense won't be as good. Oh, nah, I'm hallucinating. I've been up too long. It's too late. Nah, you're trolling. You're trolling. Nah, you're actually trolling. Like, you're actually costing yourself games. 800, 900. Well, give me one good reason this is not Evan Carter. Give me one good reason this is not Evan Carter. You must have been doing some Sammy Sosa missions or something. Dude, I'm about to give you a 0 just for that. I can't lie. Bro's worried about replacing Michael Waka. He got live series PCA running around with 40-40 left. With nobody on the bench, that's a good substitute. Live series Danny. Okay, yeah, you said you don't have stubs, so that checks out. Kopech, if you still got him, be pretty good. Waka. If you're actually 900 and you're on Legend, I don't hate Waka. He's funky. He'll probably get you 4 good innings before your opponent figures him out. Lineup structure, dude, I don't even know what to do because like Evan Carter would probably bat leadoff or like close to lead somewhere. Yeah, I'm not even gonna do it. I'm not even gonna do it. And you sir, get a 0. You get a 0. Your team is not bad, but what are we doing with live series PCA at this point? So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully I got through your lineup. If I did not, join the Discord, submit there. That's how we're doing it from now on. Till next time, peace.